What's happening, boys? We're back again for the sixth man. We're all here today. So we've got House Laskew, the sixth man himself, Alex. We've got Saltbrae. We've got Jord, the House of 03.
House of 03, baby!
He's back. He's back.
And representing Lancashire, myself, the Lancashire Lambeer. So today's discussion topic. What are you chuckling at? What are you giggling at?
I just Lancashire Lambeer is just such a great name. I'm sorry. That's what I was just.
I didn't think you introed Ed.
I did. I gave it.
I was first.
Guys, can we keep this in, please? Can we keep this in?
Ed was up first, so learn how to count to five.
He crossed over. He was that house asking.
Yeah. Count, please. You've got 5 fingers.
You finally got him back for all the United shit he's been talking.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's just kick off. So my question today, it's not really a question, it's more just a discussion topic. So Scottie Pippen was quoted as saying, well, he's gone basically on another anti-Michael Jordan tirade again, hasn't he? He said that Michael Jordan has ruined basketball, mainly around, say, chasing rebounds, points, all of this shit. And he's ruined the game because he's just been too selfish. And that LeBron James is the greatest player. So it's more just around, let's ignore the LeBron greatest player bit because we've had these debates plenty of times before. More so like, what is Scottie just chatting about, saying that MJ ruined basketball? And B, we can have this chat afterwards. Which current player in the NBA has ruined or is ruining basketball?
I mean, I guess as the resident Bulls fan, I should probably chime in here first on this whole Scottie thing. It's a shame. I like Scottie, but he's some of his takes are worse than Kendrick Perkins, you know. But it's just mad. I think it probably, because I feel like I haven't heard anything from him since after The Last Dance came out. But like before that, you just didn't really hear much. He was enjoying his retirement. He's a wealthy man. He's not a poor man. So, good for him. And he didn't come off very well in the documentary. Would people agree with that? I think he, because he's sitting out. He's like, oh no, I don't want to. I'm not coming back to play. I'm underpaid. I want out of my contract. I'm worth more than this, and all the rest of it. And then obviously when he doesn't go into the game, and Tony Kukoc makes that game winner. That's very, very infamous. And I think it was Bill Cartwright's in the locker room afterwards, just like crying, like, I can't believe you betrayed us. Like, a man who's been known to rock the boat a bit there. And yeah, didn't come off very well. And I think he's a bit jealous about that. And he's trying to change the narrative and not doing a very good job.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Matt there. In the terms of he's not really handling it very well in order to kind of change the narrative. Because before all of this, he was quite quiet and then it seemed fine and everything like that. And then as soon as this came out, he started saying how it didn't show it in the best light. I went out of my way to do this documentary for Michael and I didn't see a penny and he's made all this money and none of us got anything back for that. So I think, I don't know if that anger and animosity was there towards it. It just seems weird to just keep sending these things out over and over again with the book and then the comments later on. I don't know, it seems like he might be trying to get just Michael to respond on it or anything or something like that, just throwing his name around.
Well, but then also we're talking about him, so if that's his goal, congrats, mate, good for you. But in the actual quote though, he's like, Michael didn't want to pass, didn't want to rebound. Like, yeah, that's because Michael is the most dominant scorer we've ever seen, ever. Like,
Will?
No, the competition's not the same. It's not the same, I'm sorry.
He averaged 50 points in a game.
Yeah, but against like milkmen. Like,
yeah, I knew the occupation you were going to say. He's going to say milkman. He's going to say milkman. He said milkman.
Take your pick: milkman, postman, teachers, whoever you like. It was the second job for most of them. So, yeah.
There's a point that Jordan mentioned, which I want to touch upon, which is the whole book thing. This always happens. Whenever someone releases a book, they get all their takes out. Like, wasn't it? When was the whole Phil Jackson's racist thing? Was that When did that come out? I think that was for. Is this for this book or was this for another book? Because it feels like it happened.
Was it 11 Rings that happened? I can't remember.
It was. There was also that. I remember that also happening. It's one of those where you're like he has all that. He can say all that like now what's come out, but I never really mentioned. I didn't mention too much of it earlier or back in the day or whenever it was. But maybe I completely misread the tea leaves on that. And also, two things can be true. Pippen could have taken some L's and done some incorrect things, and The Last Dance could also be very Jordan centric, and Pippen could have a couple points which he's right about. I mean, it's a documentary produced by Michael Jordan about Michael Jordan, and everyone talks about his ego and all those other things. You really think he's really going to say all the negative things out? I mean, he did touch up on a couple things. He did speak about the gambling stuff, etc. But if I produce a documentary about myself, expect there not to be a lot of bad things. So, again, but you know what I mean. You know the point I'm making. But yeah, Alex, you got anything?
Not really, but it's not the first time that Scottie Pippen's been wilding out. He's said some very strange things before. I don't know why you're unhappy, man. You have 6 rings. Like, you guys are one of the best partnerships in the NBA. Like, can't we just get along? I don't know what's happening, what's going on behind the scenes, but just be nice. But you know that he's pissed because the whole LeBron thing. MJ definitely cares about that. So that will hit home hard.
Yeah, but I also think I don't think it's hitting MJ that hard, like, because I think he's still pretty comfortably ahead there. I don't know many people are really dying on that hill that LeBron's way better than MJ.
He respects Scottie Pippen, so he's going to respect his point of view. You heard it in the documentary. What do you know how he pissed Michael Jordan off? He say he can't do something or somebody's better than him. So
yeah,
I took that personally.
Yeah.
And to answer the other question, Matt, who's ruining the game? There's one guy. Fucking Steph Curry's fucking ruining the game, taking threes from everywhere, making kids think that they're all these like ridiculous sharpshooters. Did you see that thing with what's his name, Lethal Shooter on Instagram? How he was saying like, kids, don't be watching what Steph Curry does. Like, this is not fundamentals. This is not what you're supposed to be doing. Like, this is just completely out of this world. And Steph Curry responded like, yeah, cool. Like, thank you for like, because it's true. Like, kids should not be shooting like that and whatnot. I remember seeing Dennis Scott. He was like in an interview about something. Dennis Scott, 3D, obviously 3-point shooter for the Magic back in the day. And he was saying like, yeah, just like, and I think Reggie Miller said something similar. Like, when you do shooting drills, you should always start from the bucket and then work your way backwards, and then get to the end. But like kids, like he said, when you watch his kids nowadays, they all just want to take threes. That's all they're going to take. They don't take anything else, just threes. And it's all because Steph's fault. Steph, it's all your fault. Prick. Yeah.
Man, this is a very get off my porch opinion.
Yeah,
the old man opinion, which I do agree with, because when I'm playing younger kids at the park, and all they want to do, they can't catch and shoot. They can only step back and shoot. They can only shoot off the dribble. They can't shoot off the pass. I'm dead serious. And and the one way to take them out of their game is to overplay the shot so much, because they will never ever drive past you ever. Trust me. I've watched it happen. Kids who are like 17, 18, like I'm 10 years older than that, so it's not like I'm not boasting out here like I'm destroying kids, but I've just noticed because that is not happening. I'm
walking up to a pot, smacking shots from kids.
Hey, that number 1 quarter Clapham, yeah, I ain't getting much playing time on there, I'll tell you that much. But I have noticed the tendencies, so I would kind of agree with you. Do I think it's necessarily a bad thing?
No.
I mean, I think ultimately kids being better 3-point shooters is not a bad thing, because I can't shoot for anything.
But I mean, when you watch games nowadays, I think there's a couple of games I watched at the start of the season, and it was just 3-pointers and 3-pointers. I was like, oh, come on. Maybe it was just the start of the season and people just being lazy, just like throwing up shots. But I was like, oh, this is really hard to watch at times.
Yeah, but I love to see, like, okay, someone like Steph is not going to go LeBron on us and
of course, 2-hand
yam it over 3 people. He can't do that. So I'd love to see someone as electric as that. Just like, did you see what he did to Marcus Aldridge? Just shook him out of his shoes. See you later, 40-footer. That's nice.
I mean, I didn't really have a genuine answer for this. That's why I said Steph Curry. But, Anyone else? Anyone?
I would say until this season, James Harden's been a bit of a culprit. The old, I'm gonna shoot 20 free throws a game. I'm gonna, put my butt into you, catch you when you jump in. You're gonna foul me on the 3-point line. There have been times when that's seriously hard to watch. And he does, he's got some nice highlights in there, but it's like, okay, fine. How many times do I really want to watch this? Like, do I want to watch you do it 40 times a game? Like, but yeah.
I'm Trae Young. I just can't, dude. I can't stand it when you come off a screen and he stops, a defender goes into the back of you and throws up shot, and I'm just like, that's not. You can't.
It's not a thing this season though. It's not been a thing.
No, because of the rule change.
It's the same way that you were saying about James Harden. I'm so glad they took it out, but it should have never been a thing anymore. But these players are smart because they've been able to manipulate it. So I'm sure they'll find another way to do it, because at the end of the day, that's how they become successful. So it's almost like annoying, but you got to be like, fair play.
Yeah. But I think with that, that's what I'm not happy about, because then they're just going to change the rules again and again. And as soon as it came out with that rule change, I was thinking, well, how long is it going to be until they start discussing like a 4-point line once again, with the amount of people who are pulling up from halfway?
Jay, you know what they say, man. Every great player, there's a rule change.
Exactly.
But Charles Barkley had the back down rule that they took out. So,
True. I mean, although I feel like we're 5 guys here. We seem to be hating on the specific type of player who's, taking all these shots and doing that. So I'd like to throw one into the ring. Who remembers the Clippers teams, the Lob City with Chris Paul? Obviously, they weren't ruining the game, but what they were doing is complaining about every single call. There would be, the whole team would be on the refs, just in the ear, just all the time. And honestly, having watched a few of those games, it was just like, they're going at it again, literally. Like, entire plays would stop. You'd see people just like not play defense so they could yell at the ref. Like, I'd be like, this must be so horrible to be a part of. But that was like part of the identity they ended up kind of getting. And when they all fell out at the end, I don't think anyone was particularly surprised. But that whole
Matt, who do you think? You asked the question. I want to hear your answer.
I think Steph is the obvious answer, but I think Westbrook is a culprit too. Chasing all of these stats, taking it out, really matters, just winning games.
I see it. I see the stat chasing.
A lot of guards. It's a guard-driven league.
Bray, and what you're saying actually, it also means that there's less of the foul calls, and the games go by so much quicker. Like the fact that we can watch a game now in like 2 hours compared to 2.5 hours before, especially for us when the games are late at night, is quite nice. And actually, what you were saying there about like complaining to the refs and like doing that sounds like peak Man United, Fergie years United. So I'm glad they stopped that happening. I'm glad that stopped happening. I had to get a dig in before you can get it. I had to get the dig in before you can get it. But anyway,
coming from a Chelsea fan,
don't know what you mean. Anyway.
Look in the mirror, Ed.
Couldn't help myself.
No more.
Sorry.
That's it. That's getting cut out.